Greetings, Watford fans. I'm Omar Moore, and welcome to the Orns Friday Focus. The focus this particular Friday is on Everton versus Watford as the Orns take on the Toffees at Goodison Park, and then we're walking out to the same theme tune. That's right, Z Cars. And that will be fun to watch. Always, it's the two times on the football calendar where two teams playing in two different places get the same theme for their team as they walk out together onto the pitch. And Watford will be walking out tomorrow onto a pitch where they have never won. They have never won at Goodison Park, not in the league and not in the cup. And Watford will be trying to end that script and take that statistic off the table or put it on, depending on where you are, as Watford look to get a win at Goodison Park, something that they've never done. And as I said, they've looked high and low for a win and have not found one. But they're going to have to work hard for it tomorrow. And if they work the way they've worked these last few days, they will stay winless at Goodison. Although I think tomorrow Watford are going to give a spirited performance. They've had more time with Claudio Ranieri, the new head coach. They've had more time to work with him. He's got to know them a little better as well. And they have certainly got to know him. And by the training pictures I'm seeing, they look like they are up for it. But again, it's one thing to be up for it in training. It is quite another thing to be up for it on the match day. And my question becomes, will Watford be up for it in the match day? I think they will be. I think you're going to see a hungry Watford tomorrow against an Everton team who perhaps a little short of confidence following their 1-0 home defeat last week to West Ham. Now, granted, Rafa Benitez is a very good head coach. We know of his credentials. Claudio Ranieri knows that too. Both of them know each other for a number of years playing in football as managers, I should say. But we will see what happens tomorrow. I think Watford will have a good spark back with Josh King if he does play in this game. I don't expect him actually to be on the bench. I think he's going to start. It was very clear during the week that Claudio Ranieri knew, after using him in the central attacking position, off the just off the shoulders of the two central defenders, that Ismail Assar was not that kind of player. He was tailor-made, if you will, pardon the pun, to be on the right wing of the field. And certainly now, Claudio Ranieri has seen that through trial and error, that the best thing to do is put Ismail Assar where he belongs, and that is on the right, running down that wing, and absolutely taking on all comers. And he will be doing that, I'm sure, tomorrow. And then I think look to have Josh King back in the middle of the park, in the front line, at the top of that front line. And you will probably likely see Emmanuel Dennis on the left, and they will have Dennis drift in as well. I think that's what you're going to see in the formation. I think he's going to return it to a forward three. But again, we'll see. It depends. It depends. Everything depends in this game, of course. But Watford, I think, are going to have some purpose tomorrow. They know that Everton is a place they've never won. They know that they have not played well. They've recognized that. They've openly said that their performance against Liverpool was, disastrous. At least I say that. But what Watford are going to need tomorrow is going to be a team ethic. They're going to need an identity, and hopefully the extra week or two now, the extra week or so that Claudio Ranieri has spent with the players um, will give that to them. Because what you've seen and what you had seen over the first few weeks of the season was a team playing without an identity, and a team that really didn't know what its role was collectively. And perhaps maybe the head coach at the time didn't really know that. He was still trying to learn the team as well, because of course we know that there are at least 12 different players that have come in the off season. But that's over now. The whole 12 different players thing to me doesn't wash anymore. We are now at match day 9. Now, I said prior to the beginning of this season that we wouldn't really find out about the kind of personnel and the kind of team Watford is until 8, 9, and 10 into the regular season in the Premier League. And as we can clearly see now, I've had to now tinker with that. And it's going to be a few more games before we find out what Watford is about on the pitch. We know from the first few that clearly they're not gelled together as a team. And I still think that after the Liverpool game, you had 11 individuals out there who seemed to be playing, although 2 of them looked like they were playing for the team. And you know who they are. Those are the likes of Jeremy Ngakia and the captain on the night, on the day, Musa Sissoko. Those are the only two people who seem to be playing team-oriented football. Now, that doesn't mean that the other 9 players weren't playing as a team for team-oriented sake. They seem to be playing very individually. And that comes when you're not sure of what your role is. That comes when there's a lack of confidence and a lack of direction. And I think now this week extra for Claudio Ranieri with these players is going to be helpful. And I do think that they are up for this game against Everton. They know that they can't put in the performance much worse than the one they put in the last 2 weeks, the last 2 match days against the 2L teams, Leeds and Liverpool, which resulted in 2 L's of our own. We lost to both of them. We now have to think at this point it's going to be third time around a charm, as I think Watford could do something very well and win the game tomorrow at Goodison Park. I think that Everton are coming in. I think they might take Watford a little bit lightly as far as Watford are concerned. They really, I think, have to show now that they belong in the Premier League, and I think they do. And look, I'm the one that picked them to finish 11th, for goodness sakes. And I still stand by that, even as they are at 16th spot. Would you believe 16th in the Premier League table heading into tomorrow's action? The key in this game for Watford is going to be the first goal of the game. They must get it, especially on the road. If they get that first goal on the road tomorrow at Goodison, I think they will be okay. Remember, when Watford played here roughly, 6 years ago or so, they got the first goal in the 14th minute or so from a man wearing number 14 on his back. That's right, Miguel Layún scored the first Premier League goal of that campaign as Watford came back into the Premier League. And I think that Watford could get off to a good start here tomorrow. They will need to, they will have to, they must, and start to show the kind of form that they showed against Norwich City when they scored the first goal, and really pretty much apart from letting Norwich back into the game, went on in the second half and proceeded to control the match. Now, look, Watford have to do that tomorrow. Watford must be at it from start of the game to end of the game, minute 1 to minute 95. They've got to continue to go forward and show no fear. I think for me, the biggest thing is the mentality of starting these games right and showing no fear. You have to come into Everton tomorrow and send a message to everybody at Goodison Park, your fans, their fans, and their players, the Everton players, that you are coming in here to do some major damage. And if you do that, you'll have them on their heels. If you do that and take some shots at goal early, get yourselves loose, and then attack that goal and do it with purpose. Don't do it with, ooh, I don't know what's going to happen here because the new manager's watching me. Do it with, we're coming in here to take 3 points. And I'm not saying that Watford are definitely going to win tomorrow, but I do think you're going to see a positive attitude out of Watford. And actually, who knows? They could well take the 3 points tomorrow. I think Everton are going to take Watford lightly. So we'll see. We shall definitely see about this. Everton obviously have some good players. We know that. But I also think that their defense can be very suspect at times and certainly left wanting. Watford can exploit that if they are in the mood to do so. And I think Claudio Ranieri has them in the mood. And I think that they are going to perform tomorrow. And I think they're going to acquit themselves very well. Thank you very much. And I think the other thing that is something to watch here is that there are going to be, I think, changes in that back line. Kiko Femenia is out injured at the minute. He's going to be reassessed. So that could be a game time decision tomorrow. But I think you're going to see Jeremy Ngakia starting at right back. I am a strong proponent of that. I said that so last week on Twitter at Orns WFC. And I believe that Jeremy Ngakia has a lot of purpose when he plays. In games, especially games that Watford happened to have lost, the game at Tottenham, the game at home against Wolves, Jeremy Ngakia came on that pitch and he had a different energy about him. He had a different verve about him. He wanted to move the ball forward. I think he did some very good defending. He tracked back well. He played well. I don't think he put a foot wrong in either of those games. He gave you energy. He gave you life. He had a positive attitude about him, forward thinking. That's Jeremy Ngakia. He did it again against Liverpool. Liverpool had us dead and buried, but when Ngakia came on, he moved the ball forward. He pushed the ball forward. He showed you spirit. He showed you a bit of devil, and that's the kind of player that you want around here, around the place, to get you into good stead. And I think tonight, Jeremy Ngaka is going to be sleeping very well, knowing almost certainly that he's going to be picked to start in the lineup for Watford FC tomorrow at Goodison Park. That is the Friday Focus here on this edition of it, the Orns Friday Focus. I'm Omar Moore, and we will see tomorrow how things go at Goodison for the Golden Boys. I'm expecting a very good performance indeed from them tomorrow.